first day of school. The school radio suddenly started playing the rules over and over again. Admission rules 1. All students are requested to enter the classroom building before 7:45. Otherwise, you will be the school lunch at the cafeteria. Students become the school lunch. I guess what it really means. Listen to the constant broadcast. I can't help but be stunned. Check the time. Already 7:40. Walking alone. I slowly approach the school building. There are many people around me who are as confused as I am. As the bell rings, I just stepped up the stairs at the entrance. I checked the time. Now is 7:45 and I turned around to look. Those who haven't come inside the building all turned into ashes after a loud bang. They all exploded. The clothes were torn to pieces. Flying in the air, looking at the robots from nowhere, start collecting the pieces that have fallen on the ground. Although I just feel quite sleepy before, now I am really conscious. I feel cold sweat running down my face. These students are literally becoming the school lunch. It doesn't seem like a joke. I just stepped into the hallway of the building. The second broadcast over the loudspeakers rang out right away. All students are requested to choose their classroom freely before 8 o'clock. Sit down and listen to the teacher. Once in class time, those who have not yet entered any classroom will become the school lunch. 30 seconds before the bell rings, teachers will write on the blackboard rules for each classroom. Please follow the rules strictly. Listening to the countless speakers around, keep repeating these 3 rules. I felt a tingling sensation on my scalp. All classrooms' doors open, but I can't see what's inside. I took a quick look. I found a classroom nearby and sat down, waiting quietly for the bell to start class. There are a total of 30 sets of desks and chairs in the classroom. There's a male teacher on the podium, wearing overalls with middle part hairstyle. As the 1-minute countdown bell rings, there was a large group of hesitating people now coming in, filling up the classroom. Looking at the wall clock, there are only 30 seconds left. The teacher stands up, picking up a white chalk with no expressions on his face and write rules on the board. The teacher moves very slowly. One stroke at a time is very elegant. It's almost like printing letters. He seems to have calculated the time. As the school bell officially rings, he finished writing his last sentence. The rule is all students must sit down before the bell rings 5 minutes. As soon as the rules come out, the whole classroom went into a panic. The vast majority of people, they all came in at the last minute as a fight for survival. A burly man suddenly stood up. He slammed the table with force. Take a hard look at everyone. Everyone. Why should I listen to this person? Let's fight him. Then he took out his knife and rushed towards the teacher. The teacher was still expressionless. He quietly watched the man. As the man approached the teacher, the strong man's body suddenly became stiff. He can't push back. The loudspeakers in the classroom were sizzling, adding a roll for false acts. Students who attempt to attack or harm their teachers will become ingredients for school lunch. After the announcement, the sound of lip smacking came through the speaker. We like strong and restless ingredients like this. Right after that, the strong man exploded. Not just him. Everyone who entered the room at the last minute all exploded. Just like before at 7:45. I felt numb. Some survivors couldn't help but cry out and vomited on the table. After a while, several robots entered the classroom, started picking up the pieces. The teachers started to laugh a lot. We have a new taste today. No more vegetarian food. And he went on to lecture. In the next 40 minutes, the atmosphere in the classroom was very intense. The bell finally rings. The teacher stopped the lecture very promptly. Classroom doors open automatically. The wind from the corridor blows into our class. Although still very scared, I can't help but breathe a sigh of relief. According to my observation, it seems that as long as you follow the rules on the blackboard, it's going to be okay. Even if I did not listen to the teacher's lecture, there was no problem. I hurried out of the classroom, breathed the fresh air outside. As I was about to go downstairs, another broadcast from the teaching building. Congratulations on staying alive. You can continue going to other classes. There are 3,000 students in the school, and at the end of the first class, there were 800. There will be a 20-minute break between classes. Don't waste your time. You can go to the playground, canteen, dormitory, and other places to rest, relax. The teaching building has 9 floors. The 5th floor is the cafeteria and entertainment room. The other 8 floors are classrooms. Please do not attend 2 classes on the same floor. Otherwise, you will become the school lunch. After hearing this, I immediately started to go to the 2nd floor. After the first class, there was on 800 left. That's a pretty scary death rate. My heart started pumping hard. I don't know what the rules are in other classrooms. After reaching the 2nd floor, thanks to the lesson from the previous class, I'm afraid to go to class late. Although I know that every classroom has its own rules. But there are lingering fears. The teacher this time is a young man with long hair. I'm in the classroom. I waited torturously for 10 minutes. Finally, I waited until the bell rang. There are more and more people in the classroom. In the end, there were more than 10 people sitting, and the teacher stood up in silence. Take out the chalk and start writing on the blackboard. While the teacher was writing the rules, I heard the sound of rapid footsteps. A little girl entered the door, an oval face with flushed cheeks after running. As she rushed into the classroom, she fell. I held out a hand and got her to hold on to her feet. Then the bell rang. The last 2 words of the teacher have finally been written. She caught up her sit at the last few seconds, entered the classroom smoothly. Smile at me. I am very happy, and I was about to give the girl a smile, but found that the rules written by the teacher were actually teacher rules. This classroom doesn't need expressions, with a terrifying scream. The girl next to me was cut in half. Bright red stains my eyes. I was terrified. I see. Even if my muscles can't help shaking, I can't look scared either. I just kept fighting my emotions, forcefully carried it for 40 minutes. Finally, after hearing the familiar bell, I exhale. In shock, I scan the whole classroom. From the dozen or so people who were sitting at first, only 2 or 3 remain now, constantly gasping for breath. Soon after, the voice came again on the radio. Congratulations on staying alive. You can continue going to other classes. After the 2nd class ended, there are 220 students left in the school. To be honest, you can already start to expect our delicious lunch today. Of course, there's still a 20-minute break between classes. Don't waste your time. You can now relax and go to the next class. The 3rd class will start promptly at 10 o'clock. Please do not attend 2 classes on the same floor. The canteen's meat storage is almost full. After only 40 minutes, I was already exhausted. I can only climb up the 3rd floor dazedly, find any classroom and sit down, then close my eyes and rest until the bell rings. As soon as I look up, I did not expect to see 20 people in the classroom. It seems that in a chaotic situation, most people inevitably want to gather into a group to feel more secure. Time is up. The teacher on the podium got up on time. Take out the chalk. Write the rules of the class very quickly. Urgently, but still neat. Like a precise robot. Classroom rules. During this class, you have to play the game passing the flower to the beat. As this class starts, the teacher will give the student closest to the podium a knife. The student has to continue passing in random directions. When the teacher turns back, please keep passing. No stopping for more than 3 seconds. When the teacher turns around, the one holding the knife has to slash yourself within 3 seconds. Otherwise eliminated, as the school bell rings. The first student to receive the knife didn't hold it 2-3 seconds at all. He quickly threw it aside after taking over. Because of too much force, the knife even spins gently on the table and cuts the back of the 2nd classmate's hand. Fortunately, the 2nd classmate is much more courageous. She quickly grabbed the rotating knife handle, finally handed out the knife within 3 seconds. The 3rd student is obviously much calmer. After receiving the knife, she counted 1-2 and handed the knife to the 4th classmate. This is undoubtedly a good way to play. The next few people followed this method. Try to count at least 2 numbers before handing out the knife. And I was the 6th. I was going to do the same. Calm down and count silently for 2 seconds. But something I didn't expect suddenly happened. The moment I took over, the teacher suddenly turned around. His eyes are dark and deep, staring in my direction. I was stunned. I didn't expect this. The first person to face the teacher's head turned out to be me. My hands couldn't stop shaking. I dropped the knife on the table. 3 seconds are fleeting. I immediately try to pick up the knife. But when I am so in despair, a spiritual light suddenly pierced in front of my eyes. The long-haired girl sitting next to me actually got ahead of me, picked up the knife and slashed it in my hand. This blade is much sharper than expected. The pain was awful. Almost made me scream. Seeing this, the teacher slowly turned around. "What are you doing? Pass it now." I quickly handed the knife over. This time, it's only a thin line away from death. Seeing the knife gradually being passed away, she whispered to me, "So I got it right. You don't have to slash yourself, as long as the punished person bleeds." For this calmness, I can't help but admire. Unconsciously, I said, "Thank you for your help." "My name is Lin. My name is Yao Yao. My nickname is P. Can you tell me, what floors did you go to for your first 2 classes?" "First and second floors. How about you?" "I first went to the 4th floor, then the 2nd floor, finally the 3rd floor. I have an idea. I want to find someone to experiment with. I don't know if you are interested, facing the one who just saved my life." "I think it's hard to turn down this offer. Please tell me what to do. We cannot attend to classes on the same floor. Do you remember?" Based on my reasoning, very likely, the rule of each classroom remained the same all the time. To avoid us playing the same set of rules. That's why we have to change the floor. So we can exchange information. Inform each other about the rules. This helps to minimize the risk for everyone. What are the rules for classrooms on the 4th and 1st floors? The classroom on the 1st floor closest to the stairs. The rule is that everyone must be seated 5 minutes in advance. Oh, there is such a rule. In the first lecture, most people wait and see if no one informed us in advance. Hardly anyone can make it. And then she paused. My first class was on the 4th floor. The 3rd classroom on the left after going up the stairs. The rule is to keep an eye on the teacher throughout the process. Don't look anywhere else. That's good. I hope after 4 classes, we can meet again. I hope so. This class seems dangerous at the start, but we just need to slash ourselves. So we all made it out alive. I was so relieved. After parting ways with Yao Yao, I arrived at the 4th floor. I walked into the 3rd classroom on the left, found a seat, and sat down. Suddenly, the sizzling sound came out of the speaker. The 4th class is about to begin. Please do not attend to classes on the same floor. Please enter the classroom quickly. There are currently 130 people remaining. Finally, the teacher stood up and wrote down the rules on the blackboard. But when he dropped the chalk, I froze. What he wrote, it has nothing to do with what Yao Yao said. It's not about keeping an eye on the teacher the whole time. Don't look anywhere else. It's a game. Blindfolded tag game. If Yao Yao was trying to trick me, she did not have to save me. So we were wrong. Even in the same classroom, the rules are different for each class. Classroom rules during this class. You have to play the game blindfolded tag throughout the process. As the class starts, the teacher will be blindfolded. Students have 5 minutes to hide in the classroom. 5 minutes later, the blindfolded teacher will grope around in classrooms. Students who are touched will be eliminated. Attention, please. The scope of this game is set within the classroom. Anyone who steps outside the confines of the classroom will be eliminated. As the bell rings, the teacher took out a black handkerchief from his pocket. Blindfolded, I looked around. I can't find any place to hide in this classroom. I used 2 tables to climb up to the air conditioner. This position is high, logically the hardest place to find. And once approached, you can also get down quickly and try to get as far away as possible. It's a good hiding place. After the game starts, I stared in the direction of the podium, covering my mouth so that the teacher won't hear me. Below the podium, a teenager is hiding. It's really daring. In the world of games, usually the most dangerous place is the safest. He actually hid at the nearest spot to the teacher. But teacher is not ordinary person. The first place to find is the surroundings. The boy finally couldn't bear it anymore. Hastily took a few steps to change the hiding place. Unexpectedly, the teacher blocked his way in advance. In desperation, he took a few steps back, accidentally threw himself outside the door. As a sharp alarm sounded, he exploded. The teacher's face revealed an eerie smile. The corners of the mouth almost cover the whole face. It's like we are under surveillance, whether hiding behind the water dispenser, under the chair, or in the trash can. He found every single one. It's only been 2.5 minutes. Most people have been eliminated. I was left standing on the air conditioner, and a young girl clinging to the curtain. And the teacher also started searching the walls and windows around, seeing the teacher getting closer and closer to the girl. My heart beats fast. If he catches her, soon it will be my turn. I looked around the classroom. There's nowhere to hide. I couldn't help but read the rules on the blackboard. I want to think calmly, like, yow, yow. Suddenly, one of the sentences caught my attention. An idea popped in my head. I looked at the nervous girl. She gritted her teeth and trembled. I quickly put my index finger on my lips, signaled her not to make any movement. At the same time, I picked up a basketball from behind. When the teacher almost touched the girl, I threw out the ball. The basketball rolls quickly to the ground. Roll all the way to the entrance door. The teacher has a keen sense of hearing. Immediately spotted the direction of the movement. He rushed to the ball's direction. As he realized it was just a basketball, he ripped it to pieces in anger. Being blindfolded, he didn't notice. He's out of the door frame. As the blaring siren sounded, the game ended prematurely with the teacher turned into dust. Are you sure the teacher won't show up again? He's become like that. What else do you worry about? Thank you for saving me at a critical moment. How did you come up with this idea? You pay attention. What the rules say is, anyone who steps outside the confines of the classroom will be eliminated, and it did not exclude the teacher. Thanks for saving me. My name is Ryan Liu. I'm Julin. Now the speaker has played an announcement. Congratulations, you are still alive. You all spent the morning studying. As the 4th class ended, there are 60 students left in the school. The lunch we've been talking about is finally here. Please go to the cafeteria before 12 o'clock. Go to the 5th floor of the teaching building on time. The cafeteria doors will open at 2:30 p.m. During lunch, elimination activities will be carried out in areas other than the cafeteria. For those who do not enter the cafeteria on time, they will become dinner for the school staff. We walk side by side to the school cafeteria. The cafeteria is very large, with lots of seats. It's a pity only a few 60 people can really make it to lunch. I saw Yao Yao sitting alone at a table. We walked over. I was wrong. Classroom rules change. I thought you weren't coming. Almost. If it weren't for the sudden discovery of a loophole in the rules, I really can't come. After I told her the rules of the classroom and what happened, Yao was stunned. This is kind of a dead-end game. You could think of a way to win. It's incredible. You underestimate me. Yao paused for a while, but the loophole is in the rules. This proves that the teacher is also under the restriction of the rules. Just then, the speakers suddenly sounded. It's meal time. School is a very humane place. In order to satisfy everyone's different eating habits, we made 3 different dishes. The first is traditional Chinese fried shredded pork, located in the east side of the cafeteria. The second is special Western food, located in the west side of the cafeteria. And the third is industrial deli, canned lunch meat, located in the middle of the cafeteria. The morning class has passed. Everyone must be starving. Enjoy your lunch. After 8 rings, the speakers stopped. I was dumbfounded, looking at the so-called shredded pork in the east side in front of me. I just feel nauseous. Yao looked at the 2 of us. No one would want to eat this. She took out a few loaves from behind. Eat this. I bought this outside school. Absolutely clean. Then we took the bread and began to eat. After all, we have to get through the afternoon classes. It's not okay if we don't eat anything after an hour and a half of rest. The speakers sounded again. Due to the fact that the number of students is currently too small, we decided to combine afternoon classes into one. I'm sure you will enjoy it. It's the physical education class. It's almost 2:30. Everyone please gather to the fitness hall. After the loudspeaker sound ends, the rest of us went to the fitness hall. The physical education teacher stood in front with blank eyes. Experience what happened in the morning. Now, no one dares to violate the rules. As everyone gathered, the bell rings and the speakers announce. Physical education is divided into 2 tests. 1 is measuring height and weight. 2 is throwing ball into the basket. Height and weight are relatively simple, as long as your height and weight are within the standard for passing the throwing test. Everyone has 1 chance to shoot the ball. You have to stand at a specified position and throw the ball into the basket. Isn't that simple? As passing this fitness test, everyone can finish school for today. Of course, the ones who fail is going to be dinner for the school staff. As soon as the rules come out, there were a lot of discussions. I feel something suspicious. Is there a problem with the measurement standard? Otherwise, it won't be so simple. Let's observe first. We're at the back of the line anyway. Okay, first student please comes forward to measure the weight. A girl at the front stepped onto the scale. She is well proportioned. There's no danger. But when she stepped on the scale, she was shaking. She opened her mouth and said, "Why I'm so heavy. That's really heavy." After the teacher took a look, 100 kilograms continued to measure the height. How is that possible? She should only be over 50 kilograms. Is this weight value displayed randomly? Finishing the weight test, the girl trembled and stepped on the height measurement. The teacher looked down and said, "Height 1.62 meters, unqualified," and then in a scream. The girl exploded. The rest of us were all frightened by the scene. This girl has an abnormal weight, but the height is normal. The standard index for height and weight range is 18.5 to 23. Her index was 38. It falls within the scope of non-compliance, but if we also have a heavy weight, what to do? This is obviously a trick rule. Basically impossible to pass. Don't worry, I'll take a look first. Second classmate. Weight 57 kilogram. How come? Why is it normal again this time? Does this machine work properly? Height 1.72 meters within the normal range. After a period of time, the first 50 people were basically eliminated. Only 3 people passed the test standing aside, and we happened to be the last 3. Okay, next. Yeah, walked up the scale without any hesitation. Weight 103 kilogram. I'm in a cold sweat, but Yao did not show any expressions. Not waiting for the teacher to say, she took a stool, put it on the height gauge, then stand on the stool. Height 2.2 meters. Qualified next. I was shocked. It can be like this, but yeah, the rules did not say that we are not allowed to measure with the help of tools. I let out a breath. Go up to measure my weight. Weight 30 kilogram. 30 according to this method. I have to lower my height to around 1.2 meters. So I stood behind the height measurement and lowered my knees, keeping my height at around 1.2. Height 1.23 meters. Qualified next. With this method, Ryan also passed the test. After the test is completed, there are now only 6 students left. Now, the speakers make a sound again. Next up is the ball shooting test. This is also the last test. I hope you can all pass. After the test, you're free to move around. You only need to throw the ball in the basket within 10 seconds. Please follow the order of passing the height and weight test. To participate in this one, the first student to shoot is a delicate boy. I saw him pushing forward with the basketball. The basketball draws a perfect arc in the air. Just when everyone thought he will pass, the basket suddenly shrinks to be smaller than a basketball, and the ball fell to the ground. Unqualified. No, there was a problem. As he did not even finish his sentence, he explodes. The physical fitness of these students is a bit poor. Next, the second student walked forward trembling, just ready to fill up. Hand slips. Basketball falls to the ground, just as she was about to pick up the basketball. Missed. Failed. Then she also exploded. The third student is the same as the first. The basket suddenly shrank, resulting in a miss. Only 3 people left. There won't be any qualified ones, right? Next, I know the loophole in the rules. Look at me. She walked up. Take out a tennis ball and throw it to the basket. Not surprisingly, the basket shrank again, but the tennis ball is smaller, so it went in easily. Qualified. As expected of Yao Yao. The rule only told us to throw the ball, but it didn't say it has to be a basketball, as we found a loophole in the rules again. Ryuan and I also followed this way. Using a tennis ball to throw. Finally, the 3 of us successfully passed. Shortly after we passed, the school loudspeaker sounded again. Congratulations on successfully passing this test. You were successfully enrolled. You are now free to do anything. I hope that, in your future studies, you all become prominent citizens of society. After the loudspeaker sound ends, we smiled at each other, then we walked out of the fitness hall.
Subscribe for more videos.